Hey, I'm Susanna Lanier, actor and acting coach for over 25 years.
I'm Jess Greenberg, casting director for over 10 years.
We're here to help you navigate this crazy, creative, and sometimes chaotic journey into the film and television world.
We share our insights as to what works.
And invite some pretty spectacular guests to share more ideas to move you on your journey.
So without further ado, let's get into the show.
Today, we have the pleasure of speaking with stand-up comedian and actor Akeem Hoyte-Charles, who recently returned to Montreal from Vancouver, whose credits include Superman and Lois, A Million Little Things, and The Night Agent. You may also have caught him in last year's Just for Laughs. Welcome, Akeem!
Thank you for having me, Susanna and Jess.
Well, we're happy you're here.
I'm excited. I'm a big fan of this podcast. And honestly, I was thinking about it yesterday. I was like, this is like the ideal podcast for like up-and-coming performers, whether it's acting or stand-ups, because you're getting inside mind to casting directors.
Yeah, we definitely want to like demystify the whole process.
Yeah, you gotta get a little sense of the process, because when I first started, it was like, damn, they hate me, I suck.
Yeah, but no, it's so not that.
Yeah,
it's
then
all.
I started booking. I'm like, I'm amazing.
They love me, yeah. And it's honestly the good and the bad. It's not personal. It's a lot of times it's the vibe at the moment.
Yeah,
So
like
you can't take it personally. That's what I hope comes out of this, because it really is the vibe at the moment. And of course your talent plays into it, but everybody's talented at this level. Once you're going out there, they're all talented. So it has nothing to do with your talent at that level. It really has to do with fitting that puzzle piece.
It's the aesthetic. I watched a podcast with Josh Peck, and he said one of the most brilliant things ever about, like, when you go to an audition, you're either doing one of two things. You're solving a problem no matter what, but you're either showing the casting director or the director exactly what they were looking for, or something they never thought they needed, but now they know they need.
Right.
And you never know which one it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's only when you get on set, that's when they'll tell you.
Let's take it back though, from the beginning.
Yeah.
So I read at like 25, you had a steady job in sales, but you wiped it away and decided to pursue comedy and acting.
Yeah, I did. So, like, here's what's the funny thing about, like, most people think like comedy and acting is like the dream for most people, and then they settle for like the corporate job or the steady pay or whatever like that, and then they have this like midlife crisis where I've always wanted to get on stage and do it. For me, it was complete opposite. Acting and stand-up is like it was my plan B.
Right.
Which, yeah, because
that's funny.
Right?
I don't know anybody who's like, yeah, well, my plan, A is to get like a steady job. My plan B is I'll be an artist.
Yeah, right. So here was my thing. It was working in sales. That was plan A. Entertainment, plan B. And if that didn't work out, I was gonna be a trash man.
Okay.
Because I don't know what it was. I was a kid and I grew up in the South Shore, and I would see the trash man just coming down the street, and just being able to wear shorts to work and you're dangling from the back of the truck. It seems so much fun to a 10-year-old.
Yeah, like jumping on and off, like very
cool. It was so cool.
Yeah, you fit.
You wear boots. Oh,
yeah.
Honestly,
and you stay in good shape.
I could relate because when I was a young kid, I loved like the squeegee at the gas stations. So
dope.
And I was like, I think I would do that as a job. Like when I was like 8. And I think that's when I instilled so much fear in my dad. He's like, no, Jess, you gotta think bigger.
Yeah. But then, so once I left Concordia, I was looking for a job, and I got a job working at a friend's company. Right, he was a regional manager for the company, and so I started doing sales, and everything was going good. And it was around 2017. My friend, we're allowed to shout out people here on this, right?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, okay.
And you're allowed to swear also.
Word? Oh,
yeah.
Ooh, good. Ooh.
Yeah.
You saw me have a stroke before, and I was trying to.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, bet. All right. So I have a friend, Evangeline Alexopoulos, who's a great comic out of Montreal. She actually got me into comedy, and I saw her doing it. And even when I saw her doing it, I never got the idea to get entertainment. I just thought, oh, that's pretty dope. Stand up is funny. It's great. Like most people think, oh yeah, I'm gonna, like I love stand up. Let's go watch and support her, right? And then that brought us closer together. And then like we'd just be talking on the phone, and like I'm just a silly dude by nature. So she took something I said, like in a conversation, went up on stage with it, said it was the best joke, came back to me, said, you need to get on stage. And I'm like, I'm not funny. Like I'm not like make strangers laugh type of funny. We're in a group of friends that know me, know my personality type of funny. So I did it just to shut her up. Bombed the first place that I did. Then I got a standing O the second place I did, which felt good.
Was it the same set, or you had like tweaked it?
It was the exact same set. It was the exact same set.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I didn't care the first time.
Right.
I just did it to get it over with.
Yeah.
And she's like, if you put a little bit more like energy and emphasis on it, like actually try it, then it'll probably be different. So I went, did to this other comedy club, did it, got a standing O, and then it felt good. So I committed to it once a month. Got my first paying gig that January of 2018. And it was $200. And I was like, you're gonna pay me $200 for that? You're like, yeah, if it's not enough, we could figure out more in the budget. I was like, 200 will suffice. At the time I was staying with my mom. My mom sees the mail and she's like, what is this? And she opens it. I was like, Mom, opening mail is illegal. She said, well, when you pay a bill in here, then you could have rights to privacy. But till you do, all mail is my mail. I don't care whose name on it. She sees the check and she, what is this for? I said, remember the show I did a couple weeks ago? She's like, yeah. And I was like, that's what it's for. And she goes, you know, Akeem, if you do this about 4 or 5 times a week, and you're getting paid this, that's your current salary. And I was like, huh. And then the comedy dream was born. And that's when it just started making sense. I was like, I work a 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, 40 to 50 hours a week, working in sales, right? And that's a volatile, just as, honestly, people don't understand, sales is just as volatile as entertainment. Because you're self-employed, you're an independent contractor, you have slow parts of the year, you have good parts of the year, it's just as volatile. So the mentality of putting away money and all that stuff was instilled from me from that.
Right.
So then, so I started doing stand-up, and then my cousin Tristan, I'm pretty sure, Suzanne might know, but I know Jess knows, my cousin Tristan. Yeah, so he was a big actor. He's a big actor in the city, as you guys know. And he was just on my ass about, why don't you get in acting? It's all synonymous with each other. The bigger you get in comedy, you're probably gonna start doing movies. And I was like, fine. So I linked up with Constantine Cortitas, which is a great agent. If anybody's listening to this and they're looking for a fantastic agent, please reach out to him. Yeah. With top talent. And signed with him, booked my first gig 3 weeks later. I went, this acting stuff is easy. I could do it. Wow. And then it snowballed into there, and I just said.
And do you find the comedy and acting do fuel each other?
Absolutely. I think because comedy is so appreciated, but like there's less involved. I think that acting fuels that, because if you think about it, acting is the mecca. Like acting is the movies and television are at the top of the pinnacle, no matter what facets you do, whether it's music, comedy, whatever. That's where the money, everyone gets into acting at some point, because that's where the money is. That's where the bulk of entertainment comes from. Right. So definitely my acting career that I've been able to grow and cultivate has fueled and pumped up my comedy stuff. It's like comedian, like when bookers are booking you, they tell you what TV credits you have. Now, most comedians will say they have a late night taping. They have this. Very few that I know are saying, I'm in these shows. Not just this show. So there's comedians that have done like one-offs and this and third, and bless it, everyone starts out somewhere. But having like an IMDb that people can go search up my name and they see, and it's like they have to scroll down to, you know what I mean? And then they go find the episode and they see, oh shit, he's not just like a taxi driver. He got a name. Like he's got a name, which I didn't know the importance of. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So it helps you both, like as a performer, like keeping you sort of like on your toes and stuff, but also professionally when people are booking you, that they see the resume.
Essentially, I think acting helps the perception, and helps me get booked more in terms of comedy. But comedy helps me become a better actor, if that makes sense. Because I've never taken a class.
That's what I wanted to ask you. Did you have any training, or did you it just came to you naturally, instinctively?
It's honestly, it's a combination of instincts, trusting my instincts, and then good directors and good direction. And then with stand-up, because stand-up, right, and sorry for anybody who's obsessed with stand-up and loves it, but I'm about to tell y'all, blow the whistle on it. We tell the same jokes. We're going on tour. We're on the road. Our job is to tell the similar jokes or the same jokes night after night after night. We'll make it seem like it's the first time we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that muscle in itself allowed me to kind of jump into anything. Okay, I'll read a script. I see the directions. I get a sense of where the director or the writer is trying to go with it. And then with the director comes in and then fine tunes it. I remember doing So Help Me Todd. And it was like one of the first parts that I got where like the scene was like heavily dependent on me. I had one scene, but like that was very integral part to the story. So we get on set, we're there, and I'm there walking around. I get on set, craft services, wherever we're sitting for the green room. That's it, right? I wait to be told what to do. So I get in the set, director comes up to me, shakes my hand, and like, so what are you thinking for the scene? And I'm just like, what are you thinking for the scene? And she's like, well, I'm just thinking we're here. Like, what would you do? And I was like, well, I don't know. What do you want me to do? And she's like, you know what? Let's do a dry run. Let's just do a dry run. Akeem, just do whatever feels natural.
Okay.
Cool. So we're doing the scene. I open the door. I'm walking, hands in my pocket. I shoulder shrug. I turn around. I'm looking. And then we ran through the scene. And the director says, cut. All right, block it, set it up. That's exactly what we're doing. Thank you, Akeem.
Right.
You were able to go to craft services. And it was the first time I could just like relax and just trust myself and know that just go. Just trust your ability as an actor to kind of just go in and then do something that feels right and add your own type of sauce to it. So that was a lot of fun. And that was a really cool experience. But yeah, I'd say that's how they work tandem with each other. Sorry to get on a little tangent there.
No, it's interesting.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That makes sense that because that's exactly the same note for acting. You have to say it as if it's the first time every time when you're on set, and you do it over and over and over.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is because I'm an acting coach, so I always tell the students that come with clear choices, and then if they don't like it, they'll redirect. But you're the opposite. You're coming in as like, tell me what you want me to do. But she was like, I don't know. You do what you're going to do. And then what you did was right. So you're kind of not coming with clear choices, but you're confident enough and you trust your instincts enough. You don't second guess. Should I open the door? Are they going to like this? You just do it. And you're like, this is what I do.
Okay. Let's make one thing clear.
Yeah.
Now I could do that.
Right.
Year one, tell me what to do.
Yeah.
You need me to walk up these steps? Am I going too fast? Am I going like I needed all that? Because again, like I had no idea. And it would be times where it's like before I wouldn't watch until I got on the show, I wouldn't watch any of the shows that I auditioned for. So like I did A Million Little Things. I had never heard of that show, never watched it. I got the audition, I booked it. I had a bunch of actor friends back in Vancouver. They're like, maybe you should watch the show to get. I'm like, listen, I didn't know shit about this show, and I booked it. Clearly, that's a recipe for that works for Akeem. I'm just gonna continue doing it. Because the last thing, I think what happens is with a lot of actors is, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, is that they'll go watch a show, right? And they'll try to get an essence, and they'll try to, typically when they try to model, they'll model their character after someone else there. But you're a whole different character. You're a whole different person. You're a whole different idea in this whole puzzle, as just put it, right? So why, if they wanted a double of whoever they've already seen in there, and typically it's like one of the main characters, they'll just give that person the lines.
Right.
So it's like going in there with a fresh mindset. So now, especially with the improvisation of comedy, being able to think on my feet, now I actually have the content. It was always in my skill set. I was always able to do it. But it's like, oh shit, like I'm new, I'm on set, they've all been working together. I don't want to step on any toes. I don't want to do anything. So it's like, I'm just gonna get in where I fit in. But now it's like, especially with the bigger roles, I have the opportunity.
At the beginning, well, it's experience. It makes a huge difference. But it's funny because you go against everything that I teach, but that's okay because all the comedians do. They're rebels by nature. I'm like, all the comedians I have, they always do, and that's okay because it's them. Because the most important thing I teach is like, you do you, and you know where you work best.
Yeah.
Most of the times I say, Jess and I have had that, like if you're going in for transplant, you may want to watch 5 minutes of the show just to get the tone. I'm not saying
Right.
you need to, I'm not saying you should mimic anybody in it, but you might need to know the tone. Like we don't have a whole heck of a lot of Montreal, but Ghosts, it's broad comedy. It's very
Yeah.
sitcom stuff. Transplant isn't, even if there's humor in it, don't go like
Over the
with
top. Yeah.
like it's not gonna work. Even if your scene might have a little kind of wink in there, but that's okay because every comedian who's ever taken my classes exactly, they have, and the industry needs that too. They need the rebel. They need somebody who's going to come in and say, I haven't watched the show. I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I got this. And they're going to be like, yeah, I like this guy. He's like totally different from everything we've seen. But some people are going to say, this guy hasn't done his homework and that's not my set. Like, so it just depends. But what I love is that everything I'm hearing is just you do you.
Yeah.
And it's working because you're booking and you're growing. So it's working, and that's what you got to know. I mean, that's just what you have to know about yourself. And
I had a director once tell me, you know why I like your King? I was like, why? You're moldable. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I'm here, so I'm just gonna take it.
Yes, so, thank you.
Moldable. I was like, appreciate you. I'll see you at the car.
But that's such a great thing to say as an actor. Like that's what you want, is like you need the confidence, but also you need to be able to take direction and change on the spot. And I feel like you could probably mimic a lot of people, and that's probably why you don't even want to watch those things, because maybe that will like
influence me in a way that it's like that makes sense. So
that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, so next is we want to talk about why the decision to move to Vancouver from Montreal.
Oh, that's easy. We were in a panorama. We were in a panorama. It was locked down. I had so right before the pandemic, I did JFL Northwest, which is the Vancouver Comedy Festival, in February. And then I had a gala in March, and that's when it kind of kicked off. And again, they told us it was 2 weeks. We were locked down until summer. Summer they opened up. And at the time, I'm like, I need stand-up. Like I need stand-up. Like I need to tell jokes. Like this whole internet shit is not for me. Like I need to be in front of people. So I had been to Vancouver. After that time, I went to Vancouver earlier that year. It'd be 3 times that it had been. And I was like, I need to leave. And like, it just worked out that my roommate at the time, who was my best friend, she wanted to move apartments because we were renting and she wanted to buy a place. And she's like, are you coming with me or are you going to go back to your mom's? And I'm like, I don't like the way you said that, but I'll give me a week. And so after a week, she said, so have you decided? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to Vancouver. And she's like, what? Oh, yeah, I'm going to go to Vancouver. I had saved up some CERB money. Shout out to CERB. And I just said, I'm going to go to Vancouver. So I set a harsh date, September 15th that year, where I said, I'm going to pack up and just 2 duffel bags and a carry-on and just go to Vancouver and then figure it out. And what's wild is I had zero plans on acting out there. None.
It was just to do stand-up.
It was just to do stand-up, because I had worked on a project, and we'll get into it probably. I see the questions, so we'll get into it later. But I had worked on a project as a stand-in a couple months prior, the fall before, and I got fired from it.
Oh, how come?
Yeah, I got fired. I gave attitude to a 4th AD, which I didn't even know they went that. I didn't even know they went that.
I thought 3rd AD was the top, but you got the 4th AD.
Not this one. This one had there was a lot of ADs on this one. Just because there were long days, there were long shoots. I think we were about like a month and a half in, maybe a little more than that, in a 3-month shoot.
Yeah.
Very intensive. Everyone's irritable, and the one this experience shaped my mindset of how I am as an actor on set now.
Okay.
Stand-ins is just short. Like I say this: stand-ins are like the corn on the top of the poop.
Okay.
Like there's the cool kids. There's the cool
Yeah.
kids, right? There's the stars. There's the
Yeah.
guys. There's the actors. Blah blah blah. There's the directors. There's the first ads, maybe second ads. But then stand-ins are like they just made it into that curtain. They just made
Into
it
the
to
crew. They're part of the
Yeah.
crew, but you're right.
Yeah.
They're not
you
respected
get
the
all
same.
you get the good craft services.
Yeah.
Right? You sometimes get a trailer, but when all else fails and somebody's getting yelled at, it trickles down, and then when like the director's directing yelling at the first AD's yelling at the second AD. It gets down to you, and then you look down. There's nobody to yell at. You're just taking the brunt of all that frustration, right? So, there was an AD there that was her first time ever on set ever. Like she had never done a production before, like not even in the background, and she was just bumbling everywhere and didn't really know where to be. And she's just taking everything her bosses say at face value without filtering it out herself. So it's like I'm supposed to be on set. I'm supposed to be like looking up to see when it's time to go on. Now I'm standing in for the lead, for the number 2.
Yeah.
He's on set. I'm standing there by the monitors. I'm not on set, but I'm by the monitors. He leaves to go blow his nose or something, flick a booger. I don't know what he left to go do. But when I looked up, he was there. When I looked away and looked back, he was there, right? She comes up to me, starts yelling at me and waving her finger in my face. Now, I understand that entertainment is a highly desired field to be in. A lot of people, talented or not, they want to be a part of it. I'm not one of those people. I'm like, I love it. But at the time, it's like, I'm here for a check so I could pay to go on tour and go on the road and travel.
Right.
Don't wave your finger in my face. I'm a grown-ass man. I'm here just like everybody else, working crack of dawn to the late wee hours of the night. Like, I don't know, sleep. Don't wave your finger in my face. We go. She goes and tells the 4th AD, which is her boss, so you can just let you know how low she was.
Yeah.
She talks to me crazy when she's been talking to people crazy all production.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of the day, she fired me. But she got fired the next day for firing me. What's great about that whole story is that I'm still friends with not just the cast, but the production team and everyone that was working alongside it. Like I went to go, it was Trevante Rhodes who I was standing in for. I went to go see him at TIFF last year.
Cool.
His business partner Andre was working on the production team with all of us. Him and I have stayed close, and he texted me while I was in Vancouver saying, "Hey, yo, we're gonna be in Toronto this day," and I'm like, "Does that mean I'm coming to Toronto?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Why do you think I'm texting you?" So I booked a flight, went out for 2 days. We hung out. We got to see each other after all that time, and then yeah. But the biggest thing that taught me is that it's not that it's something that I want. It's something that I need to do. I need to make sure that everybody from background to the director and everyone in between needs to feel important and needs to feel needed. Yeah.
Well, you're completely right that you can't make a movie without background. Your restaurant scene's going to look really stupid if you have nobody there. You
can't make a movie. You can't make a movie without anybody. The grips, the lighting, whoever.
Absolutely. It's a
there's
team.
a reason why you need all that. It's a team, and it's like you gotta show love to them because they'll show love to you.
Yeah,
I mean, first people I go with me, the director and the craft service people.
Yeah,
100%.
Add production accountant to your list of important people.
Oh,
yeah, you want to get your checks.
100%. 100%. They're
very important.
I call them, hey, Linda, how you doing? Okay, great. All right, cool. She's like, okay, Akeem, don't worry, your check's coming. Linda, I wasn't even asking about that, but thank you. And keep it pushing. So yeah, no, 100%. Yeah, the office people are very slept on.
It is a good note to treat everyone well.
Always.
Treat everyone well. And I remember this note from, now we do so many less in-person auditions, but back in the day when before you had an agent, you were trying to like I was anyways, with my headshot to all the like casting people. Hi, I'm new in the city and I'm, just started auditioning before I got an agent, with your headshot and resume. Well, you know who you need to be really nice to? That receptionist, because she's the one who will go, this girl was really nice. If there is anything, that would be nice if you did that. And if you're not nice, you're like, I need to talk to your boss. They'd be like, she's busy at the moment. Just leave it with me. Rip. And I know, because I was a receptionist for 2 years and everybody was really sweet and nice. And sometimes Christmas, they'd bring me like a bottle of wine. I'd always run to the back and be like, so-and-so is really sweet. You should try to get them in for something. I'm telling you, they have the biggest influence.
That's amazing.
It's the person at the door.
Noted.
They're the biggest influence because they're guarding the casting director. So that's a good note.
You're the real gatekeepers.
The real gatekeeper. I want to know about Vancouver. Is it very different in Vancouver than in Montreal? Like, what are the differences that you've noticed because you've now been in both cities?
I think the hustle is different. Is different, but I think that's only because of the sheer volume of work. Like, it's just like my peak, I think the most auditions I did in a week one time, anywhere between 9 to 12, give or take.
Wow. Yeah, we don't have that here.
Yeah, in a week. And that's like, and you're getting seen for multiple roles on the same episode.
Right.
A lot of the actors and comedians there, a lot of them have jobs. A lot of them don't transition to full-time entertainment till that facet is paying their rent.
Right.
Like that. Stupid expensive, but a lot of them, they're working in the bar industries. And the one thing that's different between the bar industry here in Toronto is that you get the freedom of actually like you see the waitresses, I need the freedom to be able to leave, someone cover my shift easy, no problem. But the money that's there that they make at these bars is ridiculous. Like it makes no sense. Like, that's why Vancouver never really shut down in terms of COVID, right? Because if they shut down all service industry, all bars, restaurants and stuff, there would be zero money circulating in the city. So these actors can afford their rent to live downtown and still jump. So I think it's just a matter of the way the market is, the circumstances, and the culture of the city. Like, everything. Happy hours start at noon in BC.
Right.
Well, because I was going to say too, I heard there's not much of like a nightlife there.
Nightlife is shit. Everyone's it's all during the day.
Yeah.
Everything's done.
So
everything's done.
Wow.
So yeah. So those are I guess those are the difference between us. But what I will say is that one of the reasons why I was able to be so successful is because when you're on the East Coast, you're on the go. Toronto, you have to hustle because the rent is so expensive. Here, you have to hustle because you don't want to be caught outside in minus 30-degree weather.
Right.
I mean, Vancouver, again, there's so many different reasons why. There's everyone's got a roommate. So it's you're splitting the bills in that regard. I was living in a 1-bedroom apartment and there are 2 people living in it. But again, there's so much money to be made as a bartender. And when you're a bartender making so much money, you're making on average $800 a shift, right? Just in tips alone. Yeah. Just in tips alone, you can go and you have all your days to get your auditions done and everything. And then you only got to go to work for 6 p.m. and then you finish at 2. You're laughing. You're laughing. You're able to live the artist lifestyle because you're working at a bar. Whereas people in Toronto, it's you're starting early in the day. Mm-hmm. You're starting early and everything starts earlier and you're going back and forth, blah, 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 blah. So it's so yeah, think about it. Most auditions, the only time I ever had to wake up early for an audition was when I had a callback from the East Coast and I'd be up at 6:30 and for an audition at my time, but it's 11 theirs. So that's the only time. But other than that, people are just doing whatever.
Yeah, I heard, so just correct me, and I think you just did. because I really don't know anything about the Vancouver industry, but I just heard that like if you go to Vancouver, it is still hard to get work there because a lot of stuff is going out to the people in LA. They're bringing people in because it's quite close.
That's
So it's not like you go out there and it's like easy breezy. Oh, there's so many productions. So what happens to a lot of people is because there are so many productions, they end up doing a lot of stand-in work and background work. So they are able to pay their bills with roommate, of course, because the rent is, that's exactly, it's 2,000. I heard it's $2,000 for a small 1 bedroom. So I guess it depends where you are, but they are able to survive by stand-in and background, and it's a lot more accepted there than it is here because there are successful actors who they just do everything because there's enough work that you can survive, but you just have to do everything. Is that the case or no? Like, what is the case there?
Well, the thing about Vancouver gets a lot of productions, but I would agree with you if it was only feature films.
Okay.
Vancouver has a lot of MOWs, a lot of hallmarks, right? Where the hallmarks are coming in with the 2 leads,
Okay.
done already, taken care of, but the entire cast needs to be casted. So you're looking at
okay.
Yeah.
So they are casting local. They are casting Vancouver.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Oh, good,
100%.
good.
They're for a Hallmark or MOW. You're looking at a cast of about maybe 15, 16 people.
Yeah.
And they'll come in with their like leads.
Yeah.
But everyone else is like coming in because like those MOWs, the turnover is like 3 weeks, right?
Okay.
So you're shooting it all in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
With a 15-man cast. I mean, you could do more, but then at that point, it gets hard to kind of like organize 15 people for a 3-week shoot.
Yeah.
And then the movie's coming out in like a month, 2 months later.
Yeah.
Right. So for MOWs, yeah, I'd say feature films is more like that. Like a lot of the big roles where the focal point of the story is because of that they're coming out of LA, and that's a big issue too. Like it's not fun. And again, shout out to Vancouver, this Vancouver market, because a lot of the MLWs are giving opportunities to people that are there. But even with Vancouver, I had to come and become a Vancouver resident.
Okay. Yeah. For tax credits.
Right? Tax credits and stuff like that. So it's not even specific to just Canadians. Unless you're in Vancouver, only the people in Vancouver are benefiting from that.
Do you have a manager, or does your Vancouver agent take care of your comedy stuff, or is it separate?
No, I got a manager. Williams Hirsch Entertainment. Shout out to them. Okay. Jake Hirsch is my representation in terms of comedy. I've been blessed with getting great people around me and believing in me and seeing the talent, and I love him to death. And he's helped me out get headlining opportunities. He pitches me to JFL, and he pitches me to. I actually was able to do the JFL Originals album back in February during the festival that they had in Vancouver.
Nice.
So that's coming out on streaming platforms on June 4th.
Wow. So yeah. What is the process? Your managers, they pitch you, tell us about the whole process of it.
Okay, so years past, how it's been, JFL has their scouts, and the scouts, at least in Canada, I can only speak for Canada, they would go to the local comedy clubs, the main ones in the major markets. So it would be Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver. And they would reach out to them and ask who's killing it, who's doing well. And then the comedian, the bookers would give them their list of people, and they would scout based off that. So it's since changed. Shout out to Neil Benson. He's the new recruiter for JFL. This guy is a machine. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he's seen more showcases this year than previous bookers have seen in their entire career. Like he did, I think he saw 200 comics in Toronto alone.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's just, he hasn't stopped. And so that's typically the process. And the Just for Laughs Festival in Montreal is invite only. So you showcase, you audition, and then they reach out to you if they want you to be a part of a show or where you fit in and stuff like that. So it's a big deal. And if any comedian tells you it's not, they're just upset they haven't gotten invited yet. But
in the comedy world, does a social media presence clips of anything, like, does that help you at all? Or are these scouts really going to the comedy clubs and watching grind it out? Like,
Yeah. It's a combination of the two. Obviously, in order to find that diamond in the rough, you need to be in the clubs. Like that's that's the only way you're gonna find sheer talent. Like anyone could go online, put a set of they can put a clip of a minute of a 20-minute set where they could have bombed, but that was the one clip that they was really well, or add laugh tracks in it. Unfortunately, even outside of comedy and just entertainment as a whole, now you do need a social media presence because the marketing is in our hands. If you have two people going up for a project, or you have two people that you're booking for a live show, one person is talented but has 3,000 followers on their Instagram, and then the other person might be less or just as talented or whatever, and they have 100,000. You might go with the person that has the 100,000 because who's the more likely to sell seats? So unfortunately, and the reason why I shake my head is because it's just every day of my life, people are on my ass about, Akeem, you have your social media presence better, you need to rebrand, blah, blah. And I'm just like, guys, social media for me is not my job, which now it's become a job.
Yeah.
But it's like, I post stuff that I want to post, and I just use it as a forum to let a mass amount of people know where my shows are going to be, what I'm doing, what I have going on, what my friends have going on, stuff I feel they should look out for. It's a bulletin board. That's it. Yes, I'll put funny shit in there. I'll put just to keep people entertained because I'm just goofy like that. But I'm not the guy that's going to walk around with a camera glued to my hand. Talent will find. It doesn't matter what you do. As long as you're busting your ass, you're working hard, you're authentic, you're genuine, they'll find you. So be patient. But yeah, they'll find you.
Love that.
Yeah. Amazing. I like that. Okay, so we are going to wrap it up, and I did want to know, we like to end with what's the big dream for Akeem now? What's the goal, the dream, the next steps?
My agent asked me that when he first signed me.
Yeah. For
me, the end all be all is to build my brand up as much as humanly possible. I want to be world renowned. Like I want to be known
the goal,
across the world.
Right?
Well, yes and no. It'll just help for my actual goal. My dream is to build a production company, a production house here in Montreal, where I want to be so big that no project could come into Canada, wherever it is. It could be Yukon the Northwest Territories. I don't care. Without having to check in with me first. I want to be Canada's entertainment bouncer. And if you want to do this, you got to come through me.
Wow.
And that way I can make sure that people who are working hard and deserving and that just need a shot and need a break to break into this industry in Canada get those opportunities.
Nice.
Like I want to shoot movies, TV shows, podcasts, dancing, or any form of entertainment possible. I want it to be going through this production house, and I want to give all Canadians an opportunity to do awards where they can do parts where they can win awards, where they can be career making, life changing roles. Where it's like this is a Canadian production, Canadian story, this and the third, and it's going up for a Emmy.
Nice.
Or an Oscar, whatever. That's my goal. So that's like, it's a long goal. It's gonna take a while, but I believe 100% that is doable in my lifetime, and it'll be around for years to come. And I can go and then give everyone every Canadian that dreams about becoming a star and becoming an actor, comedian, or whatever, that opportunity. That's the goal.
Wow, that's a nice goal.
Yeah.
I love it too. Thank you. Good goal for everybody. Well, thank you so much, Akeem, for coming and sharing all your knowledge and your tools and tips and all the great stuff. So
thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we've had a lot of people in from Toronto, like Toronto, Montreal, have moved out to Toronto. We haven't had anybody from Vancouver, so this was
glad to be your first.
Different. Yes, and stand-up comedian, first stand-up. So look at that, amazing. Thank you.
Don Ford was here. Do you
Is
know
a
Josh?
new stand-up.
He's
That's
a new
right.
stand-up. Thank
Thank
you.
you for having me.
Yeah, we'll see you soon. So for today's takeaways, 1, push yourself out of your comfort zone and network with new people. 2, don't stress too much about your social media. The scouts will find you as long as you get out there. 3, treat everyone equally because we're all working towards the same goal. And 4, don't take yourself too seriously because there's opportunity everywhere. Thanks,
Yay!
everybody.
Thank you. See you next week.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.
If you're enjoying this podcast, we would really appreciate it if you could take a moment to support us.
Leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. You can share this podcast with your friends and colleagues and follow us on social media at Book the Room Podcast.
We put out episodes weekly, so subscribe to the shows to get notified.